What's going on? I gotta collect some quarters today at the car wash because one of my hoppers is out. That's what this red light on here is telling me right there. So let me take you inside and show you what's going on. Okay, here's that change machine from the back side. And up top right here, there's these bill acceptors. And they just stack the bills in there just like that. And then on the bottom are these coin hoppers. And that one's really low. This one's all the way low. That's why it was aired out. There's a sensor in there that actually cuts it off before it runs completely out. That way someone doesn't put any money in and there's no money to exchange them, so it doesn't steal their money, right? That's why we're well overdue to do a coin collection today. This is probably the lowest I've ever let it get. When I first opened the car wash almost a year ago, I got $500 worth of quarters and I filled both of these up about 80 or 90% full. Well, recently when I've been doing collections, it's been heaping over, which means I'm running out of surplus of quarters. I see people that own laundromats and car washes and they're just always counting quarters, which I don't really understand because I have never counted quarters the entire time that I've ran this car wash. People put their money in this change machine, take the quarters to my car wash bays and vacuums, and then I just bring them right back and put them back in this change machine. So I'm only taking the actual dollar bills out of the change machine, and this is what I'm depositing as income for the car wash. These do take 1s, 2s, 5s, 10s, and 20s. But we also know that I'm running out of surplus. So people are also bringing more quarters to my car wash from their cup holders, from their piggy banks, wherever it is. But at the same time, I'll show you an example right here. Okay, so here's one right there. So there's two 20s back to back, which is kind of odd to me. Why would somebody want $20 in quarters, especially back to back? Or it's not very often that's gonna happen that two customers in a row are gonna exchange 20s. So my assumption is that this is maybe the gas station down the street or somebody wanted quarters for something. There is a laundromat down the street, but I feel like they have their own change machine. I've never been inside. And so despite me running at a slight surplus, it kind of goes up and down, up and down. And after a year, I'm finally at the point where I have way too many quarters. It overfills this machine, I still have extra. And so I'm actually gonna collect all the quarters today and then take them to the bank and we're gonna cash in some quarters finally. All right, so this is bay one. And I warned you guys, it's been a long time since I've collected quarters, so this thing is gonna be jam-packed full. And on the bottom here, I got my metal bucket. You'll be able to hear those quarters for sure. So, oh no, there it is. So, I'll give you an up-close look. It's jam-packed in there. All right, let's get those in the bucket. Now, this is bay number 2. I promise I do not typically let these coin vaults get this full. And it may not be coin vaults emptied daily, but I do empty it more often than this. And I don't like it when I wait this long because it makes a mess like that last one. Or not as many quarters in this one. There was so many quarters in that last one pushing against the door that it had it like jammed in there. That's why it got so hard to handle. But my bucket is already like a third full. Well, now it's over half full. So it's getting heavy. So I have 4 car wash bays. I'm probably just gonna go 2 and 2 and then do the vacuum separate. You notice in this one, there's like some blue, I don't know if you call that oxidation or whatever, but off the quarters. Or it might even be some soap chemical from from the wand, but I think somebody was spraying this box off with the wand, and moisture was getting inside there, because as you can see too, some of these quarters have like blue tinge on them from being in moisture. So next time I'm not gonna let this get overfilled so it doesn't make a mess all around the outside there. Now, the bucket's about 3/4 way full. It's probably 60 pounds of quarters, and it's for sure gonna fill up this first hopper, and that's just from 2 bays so far. Hopper 1 is now topped off, and check this out. So every once in a while, I will get a dollar coin mixed in with everything, because I know that some car washes do accept dollar coins. My units just register them as 25 cents though. So I just keep those in a little stack up there. But I still got 1/3 of a bucket here, and we got a lot more coins to collect. Okay, it's probably kind of a weird angle for you to see this in there. I'm trying to get the camera in the right spot, but even for me, it's a little bit awkward to get this bucket in there. I need to get some type of like a funnel to fill these with, because I end up spilling quarters all over on the sides, and every once in a while I have to take these hoppers out and pick up all the quarters too. Okay, literally almost topped off both hoppers with that bucket, and so we're well over $500 now, because like I mentioned before, previously I was like $500 at around here, and so let's go get the rest of those quarters. Okay, bay number 3. So this door is always stuck for some reason. I don't know why, but it's a difficult one, and today it wasn't that difficult. So I did put some grease in there last time, but look at this. So it's literally like stacked up the quarters. Like they almost start getting like neatly stacked at some point, but I've got a mess around the edges again. Now for bay 4, which is the least used bay, so not expecting as much out of this, but I can fill some quarters. Okay, so this one, I usually don't get that many quarters from, and so let me get the camera here. And so I actually just have a paint tray in here that I use, but that paint tray is now cracked and I need to find a replacement. So what would be a good replacement for these little Tupperware containers I use to catch the quarters? All right, I'm gonna hold the phone and my bucket with the knee and dump. And I'm making a mess. Just dump the bucket. Okay, now for the vacuums. And vacuums have surprised me, because I have a competitor down the street and around the corner that has free vacuums. And yet, I still get a lot of people using my vacuums. So, as you can see too, it's cash only on vacuums. So on my bays, 60-70% of my sales is actually just through credit cards. I never see cash money on those. But with vacuums, I see all the money I make. And I finally got it. And it opened up. So not nearly as many quarters these vacuums. I actually did collect the vacuums one time for the for not collecting the bays, so that's what I got in there. But I'm gonna keep track of when I collect these. I'm gonna write it down in my bay room, and I'm gonna follow a full month of usage on vacuums and see how much it actually brings in. It may be worth putting credit cards on vacuums and see if we can increase that usage. So I want to get probably 3-4 months on here and then track that. But show you, our bucket now has bay 3, 4, and it's 2/3 full. It's heavy. There's a lot. Okay, next vacuum. And these are kind of tricky. Like they're difficult to get to. Like if someone wanted to drill out the lock, like there's not a lot of space in there. So pretty secure, and like I say, there's not that many quarters in there anyways. It'd be kind of dumb for someone to do it, but they do it. I mean, they spend the time to dig through the little canisters on the back of these vacuums to dig out like 30 cents and pennies and nickels and dimes that people vacuum up. People rarely vacuum up the quarters, but the nickels and dimes get vacuumed up. And I have homeless people that will take the time to sift through it. So, one more vacuum. So, last vacuum here. I only have 3 vacuums. I technically have a 4th vacuum, but it's like a shampoo vac, and it never works. So, it's just off right now. But while on that topic about stupid things that people do and the signs I have, people will still vacuum up water, even though I have this shock hazard sign here that says don't vacuum water. So there's the quarters. I don't know, my guess is 10 bucks in quarters. So that's like 10 uses. I think I collected them like a week ago. So, you know, 2 times a day is what that vacuum's getting used. I don't know, probably not worth a $400 credit card reader for 10 bucks a week, but I don't know. Now, I am gonna top off this hopper just to level here. And I just do this by hand usually. Otherwise I make a mess if I try to pour these buckets at the end. And check this out. We've got another dollar coin. Put that in my stash. All right, we'll call that good. So, our surplus of quarters is over half a bucket right there. And now it's time to take that, and the money, and throw the money in the bucket. This one's fuller. Everybody uses the right-handed hopper more. I guess that's just naturally where they gravitate to, so this one on this side gets used more. The quarters probably go down twice as fast on this side. But then it aired out, and so then they started using this one. So now we've got all that, and it's time to head off to the bank. They'll count my quarters for free. I don't have a quarter counting machine. So bucket has got to be 60, 70 pounds. It's heavy. And I know that there's a way where you can just weigh it, and there's a conversion for pounds and to calculate how much money it is, but I don't know what that is. If you do, put it in the comments below. But another thing I wanted to mention was if I ever did tokens, I would have to separate the tokens from the quarters, and that's just extra work. So that's another reason I haven't switched partially over to tokens either, because of all that work that it takes. Let's take it into the bank. This machine's a little bit different than ones that I've seen in the past. You put it on here, it's like a conveyor belt. And hopefully I don't have these Eisenhower dollars mixed in there, because it breaks them. Uh-oh, I think we sent the wrong coin through. Please check for ejected coin. And we're still not done. Okay, fortunately, I'm not having to do this very often because of the way I manage my money at my car wash, but I think I broke the bank's coin counter machine. We ended up doing what you saw right there. I had to stop filming because there's a lot of employees around messing with the machine and stuff. But that first batch you saw, we got up to $740 something, and then the bag inside of the coin counter was topped off, and so they had to replace it with a new bag. So we filled up their first machine, and then at the very end, we were getting to the bottom of the bucket, and there was some moisture down there on the quarters from earlier when you saw that we pulled those quarters out of that one bay, and it had someone had sprayed it off or something, and there was some blue gunk. And so that was airing out the machine. And so the second batch, which was up to $210, and they still sent me home with what's in there. And so nearly $1,000. They're gonna call me later and cash me out on that second transaction once they clear the error on the machine and stuff. And so I think we got $1,000 of surplus quarters out of this car wash, which is kind of cool. I'm glad I don't have to do it super often though, maybe every 6 months to a year. And so with that said, guys, that's the wrap on the video. Consider subscribing to my channel if you want to continue to see videos about this car wash pop up on your homepage and stuff. Like the video, and we'll talk to y'all next time.